three-game series between the Rangers and those Seattle Mariners. Wins in the first two, of course, and Bruce Bochy doesn't like to say the word sweep, but I'm totally fine with it. The Rangers going for the sweep and looking to continue their winning ways, going for 5 straight. And this team has been in quite the groove over the last week or so. And when you look at the production, both from the pitching staff and the offensive side, there is one position that's been right in the middle of both. That, of course, being the catcher position. As you can see in our Shiner Box spotlight, Jonah Heim getting the lion's share of the starts behind the dish for this team this season. Mitch Garver obviously filling in valiantly whenever he is not in the lineup. But when you look at the production that they get from these two guys predominantly, look at the ranks, look at the numbers, and it's not often you get even one catcher that's able to produce behind the dish the way they are and then also contribute with the bat the way that Jonah Heim does, not to mention adding another one with Mitch Garver. And this team's catcher position is quite dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it has been good to see for the Rangers as they get a lot of help from behind home plate. We're going to see Nate Eovaldi now getting ready to take the mound for the Rangers and go for that sweep. I, like Emily, am perfectly comfortable talking about it. It's going to be a fun one here this afternoon as we take a look at that batting order here today, Dave, for the Seattle Mariners.
All right, yeah, well, Seattle, listen, this is still a tough offense. They come in at 84 and 70, but they have been held in check so far. Crawford, Rodriguez, Raleigh up top. It's Hernandez, Kelenic, and Eugenio Suarez in the middle. Mike, 4 DHs today. France at first and Rojas at second base. First pitch swinging, and Crawford lines out to right field, 1 away.
Well, certainly good to see 1 pitch, 1 out for Nate Eovaldi. We'll go ahead and take a look at his numbers presented by Despit Law Firms. And there he is with his 11-4 record so far in his 23 starts this year. And I mentioned this is his 5th back since he went on the IL, and continuing to build up that pitch count here a little bit. 11 home runs allowed for Nate Eovaldi this season. How about the pitch arsenal? 4-seam fastball, split, cutter, curveball, and slider.
Well, that one grooved in there to Julio Rodriguez. And I can't remember exactly how you said it yesterday, but he is the most dangerous man in this Mariners lineup. He fouls that one straight down. He's top 10 in the league in just about everything. 6th with a .283 average, top 10 in homers, RBIs, 9th highest slugging percentage. He steals a lot of bases. This guy is an all-round weapon.
And the Rangers so far have done a nice job against him in this series, right? We saw the leadoff double yesterday, but then some bad base running. He was eliminated. He was hit by a pitch in game 1, and those were the only 2 times we had seen Julio Rodriguez on base so far in this series.
1 for 8 so far, and he takes inside here. A ball and 2 strikes on the Mariners center fielder. And you can see the last 6 games, so it goes beyond this series. A little bit of a slowdown for a guy who has been just torrid in the second half. 1-2 pitch, and that's off the plate. Would he be torrid, or the streak he was on maybe was torrid? Either way, somewhere in my notes I had the word.
Oh, you wrote it down.
Torrid, yeah. The 2-2, that's inside, and it's a full count now on Rodriguez. Well, the Rangers have their ace Eovaldi out there, who's still kind of working his way back to full strength, and he strikes out Rodriguez. 2 away in the first inning.
And he does it with the split, and this was a really good one here from Eovaldi underneath the hands of Julio Rodriguez. 37th strikeout on this pitch this year. You can see that late movement straight down on the split finger from Eovaldi, taking advantage of an over-aggressive Julio Rodriguez.
So 2 quick outs. Now Cal Raleigh, he does have good power, and he'll take downstairs on the curveball. Ball 1. Raleigh 8th in the league with those 30 homers and 74 RBIs. We're talking about Rangers production from the catcher spot, and it has been terrific. Mariners have a pretty good one of their own, but this weak roller to second should be the final out. It is a 9-pitch first inning for Eovaldi. Very well done. Now the Rangers will be sending Semien, Seager, and Lowe to get it going on the offensive side. Rangers baseball on Valley Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. Great job by Eovaldi in the top of the first inning. It's now the Rangers. 86 wins and 68 losses. And a chance to extend their lead today in the division. A game-and-a-half lead currently over Houston. It'll be Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Nathaniel Lowe up top. Young, Garcia, and Heim in the middle. Stop me if you've heard this before. It's Garver, Taveras, and Evan Carter at the bottom. Same lineup now 4 games in a row.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Despot Law Firm starting pitcher stats here for Bryan Woo. He made his big league debut earlier this season against the Rangers. 16 total starts now with a 4-4 record. He has given up 9 home runs so far this year. Now we take a look at the pitch arsenal. He's got a good 4-seam fastball that sits at 95. He gets a lot of swing and miss. The 2-seam fastball, that is the ground ball pitch for him, and unusually also for him, he gets a pretty decent amount of swing and miss on his cutter. There's a slider and a changeup in there as well. We talk about the cutter a lot more often not being a contact pitch, but for Woo, it has been a whiff pitch.
Another terrific young pitcher in this Mariners system, and his first fastball is up and out, ball 1 to Marcus Semien. Marcus with 25 homers, 95 RBIs, 6th most in the league. He also leads the league in runs scored. What a job he has done out of that leadoff spot, and he'll take inside here on the cutter. 2-0. All around, as a leadoff man, you really can't expect or ask for much more than what Semien has provided this year. And he hammers that ball deep out to left. That's got a shot. It is gone. He's done it again. #10th leadoff homer of the year for Marcus Semien, an ongoing franchise record.
I said the 2-seam fastball was a ground ball pitch. Not so much right here. It's just one stays flat and runs to the inner third for Marcus Semien, and he turns and burns on that one. A no-doubter for the Rangers second baseman.
What a tone to set this afternoon as now Seager takes up and away, ball 1. "26 home runs this year for Marcus Semien. Woo delivers, and that is outside. 2-0. Mentioned that he made his big league debut here against the Rangers, and that was a kind of a rude introduction. There's a swing and a miss. 2-0. You might remember that game back in early June. Semien started the game with a double. Seager brought him home with an RBI single immediately thereafter. Later in the inning, Jonah Heim added a 2-run double.
And that was on 2 pitches. His first 2 pitches of his career. Double base hit by the top of the Rangers lineup, and it immediately put Bryan Woo in defensive mode. A game that the Rangers went on to win 16-6.
Now the 3-1 pitch, and that's hammered down to first, but caught by France. 1 away. That stung 113 miles per hour.
And no doubt extra bases if Ty France does not come up with this baseball. You see how quickly it got to him. My goodness. And Corey Seager all over that pitch.
Early indications, positive ones for these Rangers bats again today. Boy, have they been rolling of late. Mentioned it's the 4th straight game with this same lineup. Against right-handers, Bruce Bochy has settled into a little something here that I think he likes a lot and works pretty well. I think we'll see some lefties, and they'll have to maybe make some adjustments when that happens. Lowe fouls that away, 1-1. But against righties right now, and it's been a long time since they've been in this position where everybody is healthy. Heim, Young, Garcia, etc. But man, when they can put it all together like this, they feel pretty confident about their ability to score. Following that glove around looking for the ball, and there's a swing, and that's lined out to left field and handled out there by Kelenic.
You mentioned the idea of seeing lefties. Right now, as it stands, tomorrow for the Rangers, they're expected to face Reed Detmers, a left-handed starter, and then Griffin Canning, who is a right-handed starter. And then nobody right now committed to start that third game, but a decent chance there are a couple of lefties there in Anaheim with the Angels, and that'll be it, right? Because we know with the Seattle Mariners staff, that last 4 games of the season, it'll be all right-handed starters. That's all they have.
Now who gets that first one in for a strike? To Josh Young. A leadoff homer and then a couple of hard hit outs. And Young quickly in a hole 0-2. Line out to first, a line out to left field. And Young will ask for time here. Young did not fare well in that start that Wu had here back on June 3rd. And he serves that one over to the right side, foul and out of play. But Josh has been a huge lift to this team, just getting him back in that lineup. 23 home runs, 70 RBIs, missed 37 games with that broken left thumb. Pardon me, right thumb. No, left thumb. I got it. There's a bouncer third base. Suarez throws him out. And that'll end the inning, but a productive one it was for the Rangers.
That certainly was. Marcus Semien getting the party started here this afternoon as he takes a Brian Wu fastball deep out to left center field to give the Rangers an early lead.
Top 2, Rangers leading 1-0 thanks to the solo shot by Marcus Semien to lead this one off, and much discussion over the rotation for that Anaheim series, which begins tomorrow. We do know that John Gray will start in the opener. TBA on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it will be Dane Dunning. So a lot to decide based on how this one goes, how long Nathan Eovaldi is able to pitch today, and obviously a number of options for Bruce Bochy. You've got Cody Bradford, Martin Perez, Andrew Heaney. So going to wait and see how this one plays out, and then they will make that decision on that Tuesday starter, guys.
Yeah, it makes some sense. Confidence high that it'll likely be a lefty. It's based on those names that Emily threw out there. I guess we haven't really talked much about the opener. That could also be maybe a possibility for the Rangers, but probably not. I think the names that she mentioned, all pitchers that can give you some length, not as much as maybe your standard starter, but we'll find out soon enough.
Ball and 2 strikes on Teoscar Hernandez, who asked for time here. Hernandez batting in that cleanup spot today. 25 home runs and 90 RBIs for him. He strikes out a lot. 197 times this year. And the 1-2. Eovaldi trying to shave off that outside corner there with a slider, but just missed it.
Probably more frustrating that Hernandez didn't chase it. It's a great 2-strike pitch, and for an aggressive right-handed hitter, you're anticipating a swing on that if you're Eovaldi.
Well, the splitter misses in. So a full count on Hernandez. Eovaldi got 1 strikeout last inning. The 3-2, and that's lifted out to left field. Carter headed back, and that ball is too. It is off the facing of the upper deck. A solo home run for Hernandez, his 26th of the season. And he's tied the game at 1.
And just the second home run that we have seen from the Mariners in this series. Cal Raleigh had one in the 6th inning of game 1. You're going to see a fastball here. Looks like they got a little cut to it and did not quite get far enough outside where Jonah Heim wanted it. But in that count, of course, you want the pitch in the strike zone. You take your chances. And Hernandez was on it.
So Kelenic the batter now, and he'll take low and inside. Ball 1. A little fun down there in the Mariners dugout after the home run. And they celebrate him in Seattle and on the road. Traveling with that that huge trident, and I don't know. Seems like it'd be difficult to get on and off a plane, but
Think the club he likes being in charge of that?
Somehow get that past TSA.
Carry on item.
What do you have in that bag, sir? Oh, nothing. 2-1 pitch on the way to Kelenic. And he fouls it straight back. Well, this is the end of a road trip for Seattle. They head home. They will finish the year at home. And the 2-2, Kelenic takes in the dirt. And Eovaldi having to expend some pitches here. Went deep to Hernandez before the home run. Now a full count to Kelenic. And that was after a really quick first inning where he needed just 9 pitches to get all 3 outs. Right-hander's ready. Here it comes. And that's low. He's walked Kelenic, and that's something Kelenic has done with a little more frequency lately. And Scott Servais talked about it a little bit before the ball game today. Pretty pleased with that development for the young player, and hopeful that that continues forward for him, because Kelnic's a guy really highly thought of, but it has not been the smoothest transition for him to the big leagues. He's off first, and the pitch on the way, that one right in there for a strike to Eugenio Suarez. Mentioned earlier that Hernandez strikes out a lot, not as much as this guy. Nobody strikes out as much as Suarez. He's not in the American League. That's off the plate. 1-1. He's over 200 strikeouts now for the year. 204, in fact. Right about league average, though, in on base, a .322 on base average this year for Suarez.
Yeah, a little competition between him and Kyle Schwarber, who's got the lead in all of baseball and in the National League, coming in with 209 today for Schwarber compared to the 204 that you mentioned for Eugenio Suarez. The difference there is that Schwarber has walked twice as many times. He's got 123 walks to go along with those 209 strikeouts.
Good toss over there, but Kelenic able to get back in. Yeah, it's the competition, the race that has really captivated America. Suarez and Schwarber. 2-1. Fouled away. It is a staggering number, man. And this team, the Mariners, they've kind of embraced the strikeout. They sell out for home runs in a big way, and they've got some guys with some pop. They are not bashful about striking out. There's a swing and a miss, and Suarez does strike out. 1 away in the second inning.
Well, that'll give us an opportunity to go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense here this afternoon, brought to you by Rally House. Evan Carter, Leody Taveras, and Adolis Garcia in the outfield, left to right. In the infield, left to right here this afternoon, it's going to be Josh Jung over at third, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien up the middle, Nathaniel Lowe over at first, and Jonah Heim catching.
Mike Ford, first time we've seen him in the series. He'll take inside here. Ball 1. Ford, in fact, has had just 2 at-bats on this road trip for Seattle. Very sparing use lately, and he'll watch one downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. He's the DH today. So Eovaldi got the strikeout. How about the 3 true outcome innings so far? Home run, walk, strikeout. It's cost him some pitches. This will be his 20th of the inning. And that's a good one. 2-1. Well, splitter looks good early. couple of strikeouts on the pitch. Got a called strike there to Ford, and now looks like Nathan wants a new baseball. Looks like he's working up a pretty good lather too, trying to wipe off the sweat on his forearm.
Look at his hat already, and we talk about it a lot. And even though this is a temperature-controlled ballpark, it is warm down there on the field.
2-1, and that one lined over first, but foul.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the splits. You mentioned the left-handed hitters and some that we're seeing here in a guy like Mike Ford. Against Nate Eovaldi so far this season, he's put up some really nice numbers against the lefties. Just a 200 batting average. How about that OPS? Significantly lower. And so it's not necessarily that there is such a great advantage for lineups to throw your lefties against Nate Eovaldi. And you were talking about that splitter. That is certainly one of the equalizers. Just a 186 batting average for lefties against his split.
Runner goes. There's a swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Not in time. Kelenic gets in there, but the splitter for a strikeout of Ford, and there are 2 away.
A 13th stolen base of the year for Jarred Kelenic, and he can run here a little bit. The Rangers were thinking about maybe potentially challenging this. They will not. Looks like a pretty good throw. That's right on the money. You're not going to do much better than that for Jonah Heim. And so safe to say that this base was stolen against Nate Eovaldi, as that left-handed Jarred Kelenic just barely gets in.
Boy, that is by an eyelash. Kelenic safely in there, and here is Ty France. France hits it up the middle. That's a base hit. Taveras charging in. He'll throw to the plate. Here comes Kelenic. The tag. They got him. Kelenic was dead to rights. Manny Acta at third base was sending him all the way, but he never had a chance on that one. Inning over.
What a great play here by Leody Taveras. We hadn't seen it in a while. He's got a big arm. We know that, and this throw is an absolute missile from center field, and not even close. Jarred Kelenic out by a mile.
We've played an inning and a half so far, and we've seen some pretty good action already. 1-1 the score, and Adolis Garcia will lead things off here in the second inning for the Rangers. Well, terrific to have you along with us on this Sunday afternoon, the final home game of the regular season for the Rangers. Ideally, not the final game they play here at home this year, as Woo's first pitch right in there, strike 1 to Garcia. Rangers hoping to host some postseason games in this ballpark. Right now sitting in a pretty good position to do just that. Garcia comes up empty on the cutter, 0-2. Woo just 23 years old, and I mentioned earlier a really fine young pitcher, and they have plenty of those, it seems, in Seattle. This guy's been pretty impressive. Part of it, the 2 fastballs. That one, the 4-seamer that just misses for ball 1. But he'll throw both the 4 and the 2-seam. He gets pretty good movement on both. Here's his 1-2. And that's outside.
I mentioned that cutter, and there it is right there at 90 miles an hour. That is a pitch that he's done a really nice job of generating swings and misses on. You usually don't see a cutter with a high whiff rate, but for Bryan Woo this year, 36%. I think average about 25 on cutters.
Oh, and there's a good fastball right on the corner. He gets Garcia looking.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our AT&T Fiber fast pitch on Bryan Woo. You mentioned the young starter here with the Seattle Mariners, and over his last 6 starts, he has thrown the ball really well over his 31 2/3 innings. Only 4 extra base hits allowed. Really nice low batting average against, the 186. And so, yeah, after that first rough start he had against the Rangers and kind of getting settled, he's been pretty good here lately for the Mariners.
Runs run right past Jonah Heim for strike 1. Heim with 18 home runs and 92 RBIs. 1 for 3 yesterday, drove in a run, and he takes low. We mentioned yesterday he still has a shot at getting to 100 RBIs. He'll need a big game or two mixed in along the way. Man, he's been catching every day. And it's been, I don't want to say grueling, but it's a lot. The 1-1. And he fouls that back, strike two. I asked him today, there's been any conversation at all about how he might be used in this last week? And, you know, if there's a day off already factored in there, something, said, oh, no, I'm good to go, whatever they need. And we did discuss just the level of strength and energy that he has left here at the end of the season. Because remember last year, he ended up kind of forced into the everyday role. And I think afterwards would admit that he wasn't maybe prepared for that level of workload. And he got a little tuckered out at the end of the year. And this year he said, I asked him, I said, well, the time you spent injured rehabbing that wrist, when he hurt his left wrist, that helped give you a little extra this time of year. He said, maybe. He said, but also I think I just prepared to catch all year a little bit better in the offseason. So he says he feels good.
I think it makes some sense. I think a little bit of that rest certainly helped. It also helps that he went into the offseason knowing that he was going to be asked to take on that same workload, and then maybe a little bit more, more beyond that, and being the kind of main guy.
Boy, has he been big though this year for this team. The 1-2 from Wu, and that's tight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of the 92 RBIs that Jonah has contributed this year, 88 of those have occurred while he was catching. Had the 4 RBIs while DHing, the 2-2 fouled back. But those are the most, 88 RBIs as a catcher this year, most in baseball among catchers. It's a career high in 18 home runs for him. He's got a pretty good little bat going right here. 8th pitch on the way from the rookie Bryan Woo. And here it comes. It's lifted out into short left field. Suarez indicating that he'll handle it, and he does. 2 away. Well, let's check in with Emily.
Well, you mentioned that catching situation as we, close out the regular season, and Bruce Bochy not, closing any doors, saying that it's a very much a possibility that Jonah Heim will catch every game the rest of the way. Still a lot of things to consider, including how Jonah continues to feel. But Bruce Bochy also quick to mention that, look, this is a guy that we didn't even know we were going to have at this point in the season after that wrist injury, that he could have been done for the year. But he was so adamant about getting back in this lineup and contributing in any way that he could. And clearly it's paid off not only for him personally, but also for this team. Yeah,
it took him a couple of days, right? We first saw him come back off the IL. Didn't quite look like himself, but pretty quickly reestablishing the fact that, yeah, he is a potent bat in the middle of that Ranger lineup.
Garver bounces this one foul. 0-2 the count. I asked Jonah too, like, if he still has to have surgery on that wrist in the offseason, because that was the other thing, right? He might have to just shut it down this year, get surgery right away. And then he decided, well, I'll push it to the offseason. 0-2. And Garver takes outside. He said it's still a possibility, but he says, that's something we'll get to when we get there to the offseason. He says, but right now, I feel fine. I don't know that we'll necessarily have to do it. So potentially can get out of that. Stays 1-2 on Garver. Mitch, meanwhile, backup catcher, but he's become the everyday DH. And has delivered from that position with 18 home runs now this year. And he'll take strike 3 called right on the corner. Second strikeout tonight or this afternoon for Bryan Woo. So we've played 2 innings so far. We're tied at 1.
Time now for some StatCast powered by Google Cloud. How about this throw from Leody Taveras to nail Jarred Kelenic? Last inning, 99 miles an hour out of the arm of Leody Taveras. He had to throw it nearly 200 feet, the second highest he has ever recorded on a outfield assist. Last year he had one at 99.4 miles an hour, which leads me to a very important question. Can he close today? 99?
Well, he's got the arm for it. Although you don't get a running start when you're on the mound.
That's a good point.
Ball and a strike here to Josh Rojas. Left-handed hitter for Seattle. 9th place hitter, their second baseman. Then it's back up top again. Eovaldi runs that one way in. Almost got him.
Take a look at this heater here and kind of coming in pretty hard there to Josh Rojas, but he didn't catch him. He thought it was going to get him, though.
He's secretly hoping.
Was that him that made that sound?
I think it was.
Right? You kind of do that to help absorb the potential pain that's coming your way.
Yeah, you let some of the pain exhale as you get hit. He was definitely anticipating it. 3-1 from Eovaldi, and that is bounced up the middle. Back to his left for it. Seager. He throws out Rojas. One away. And we have a moment now to hear from your local Chevrolet dealers.
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains or you can move them. Command your path, conquer the trails, and take on new challenges. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting. After the play, we have some concerns. Jacob Newbern, assistant athletic trainer, quickly out there to check in on Eovaldi, who you can see is trying to let everybody know, no, I'm fine.
And Bo Porter chiming in on that as well. Or not, who's our home plate umpire today?
Now, Alan
Porter, excuse me. Bo Porter, former big league manager, not currently an umpire.
No. So, Eovaldi says he's fine. I'm always intrigued by what may have been seen, right? What somebody detected in the dugout that caused that kind of reaction.
Let's see. You see anything here with Eovaldi? He turns, he watches that ball go up the middle. Maybe it was the reaction, right? I mean, he looked a little frustrated. Obviously, he was just getting a ground out, and so maybe there was something that they saw, or if Boch or somebody saw something, they didn't like the reaction and quickly sent Jacob Newbern out there to check on Eovaldi.
Deals off the plate here. 2-0 to J.P. Crawford. So it's second time through the lineup now. And a breaking ball sneaks its way in. Crawford's had a pretty good year offensively, but the Rangers have held him down to the tune of a .211 average. He fouls that one off, and it's 2-2. Lined out in the first inning. And a ball that carried pretty well out to right field. Eovaldi's 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled back. Now, that was one of the better fastballs right there from Eovaldi at 94 miles per hour. And I was wondering if that might have been what had caused their concern a couple pitches ago, because his last handful of fastballs were down around 91. And he still got something in there. The 2-2 pitch, and that one is lined out to right field again. Garcia's back, and that one gets over the wall. Crawford sneaks it over the yellow stripe out there for a solo home run, his 17th of the year. And that has Seattle in front 2-1.
It's kind of an interesting swing here from J.P. Crawford. It was a split from Eovaldi, and he goes out there and he just hooks it. It's not a bad one. It's outer half, down far enough, but watch him go out and just kind of hook this and pull it, and it stayed low and it had some carry to it, and it clears the right field wall.
Well, that's the first time this weekend that Seattle has had a lead. And now Rodriguez swings through strike one. Rangers won the opener on Friday night 8-5. And at one point led that game 8-0. Yesterday they shut out Seattle 2-0. Eovaldi is off the plate with that one. Ball and a strike on Rodriguez. One out. Rodriguez at that right side, and he pops it up on the right field line. Long way to go, but that one out of the reach of Lowe and Semien and Garcia. Plenty of foul territory down there, but too much ground to cover. That gives Rodriguez new life. Set up away. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is away. And 95 with that fastball. And Eovaldi, we're talking about a guy who missed a significant chunk of time with that right forearm strain, late July to early September, and he runs that in full count. And so I think there's maybe a little heightened sensitivity to any body language or fluctuation in velocities. But it looks like he's throwing it pretty well here. 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He strikes out Rodriguez. Second time he's gotten him today.
And he's done it the same exact way, right? A 3-2 count with a split that goes underneath the hands of Julio Rodriguez. And this is perfect execution in back-to-back plate appearances against the Mariners center fielder. It was well done by Eovaldi. He may just be fighting himself on the way maybe that he feels about his command, right? You mentioned the velocity is really good. The stuff looks live, but he's throwing more pitches than he certainly would like to 2 2/3 into an outing. And so with the body language, maybe that's what the Rangers saw concerned them a little bit. It might just be some internal frustration for Eovaldi, but he's battled here.
1-0 pitch now in there for a strike on Cal Raleigh. 1-1. So 4 strikeouts in the early going, all 4 on the split finger fastball. You got Raleigh to ground out in the first inning and gets him to swing over the top of that curveball. Strike 2. Well, the veteran right-hander, 33 years old. Maybe trying to work his way around a little shaky command early. See if he can put away Raleigh here. The 1-2 pitch, and that is lined out to center field. Hangs up though for Taveras, and the inning is done. So Eovaldi, velocity is there. The split fingers look good. He has 4 strikeouts through 3 innings and a 2-1 game. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Daspit Law, helping injured Texans. Well, to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Rangers trail by a run. Final home game of the season. Huge crowd on hand. Yesterday, nearly 37,000 were here. It's a last chance for locals to get a look at the home 9 before they hit the road to wrap up the regular season and hopefully, ideally, extend their season into the postseason. Currently leading the division by a game and a half. And Brian Wu goes to work on Taveras here with strike 1. Taveras has had a good ball game already today defensively. And a great outfield assist. Let's see if he can contribute on the offensive side. He takes a strike. 0-2. Hitting .308 on the homestand. Sits safely now in 11 of the last 13 games. And he fouls that one away.
That's been really important. As we've talked so much about what's going on here with the Ranger offense, we have a tendency to put a lot of emphasis, and understandably so, on the fact that Josh Young and Adolis Garcia are back. But this really good version of Leody Taveras has been really important.
2-strike pitch, and that's low and in. .271 average for Taveras, a .316 on base percentage. The 1-2 pitch, and that is low again. And so Wu maybe throwing some extra pitches here. He'll rub up the baseball. The 6th round pick in 2021 after Tommy John surgery at Cal Poly. It stays 2-2 on Taveras. Wu was one of those guys who just kind of fell off the radar in high school. People weren't really aware of him. He went undrafted. He then went and played in that Alaskan Wood Bat League and dazzled. In fact, teams tried to sign him as a free agent, an undrafted free agent after that summer season. But instead he went to Cal Poly. 2-2, and that's a backdoor slider that just couldn't quite get in there.
It's a good call by Alan Porter too. We saw yesterday some of those pitches from righties that were thrown in this location. It looked like they were off the plate, were getting called strikes. That one certainly was not a strike.
8th pitch of the at bat, and that is up and out, ball 4. What a great job by Taveras to work a leadoff walk in the 3rd.
That certainly was, and you wonder a little bit about the splits here for Bryan Woo. If you look on the surface, you say, wow, look at those numbers for the lefties. 295, 921 OPS. You want to get all your lefties in there. However, over his last 7 starts, he's actually done a really nice job and has made those adjustments against lefties. They're hitting just 194 against Bryan Woo.
Well, here is another lefty, Evan Carter, who will take the inside corner for a strike.
8 stolen bases against him this year, a perfect 8 for 8 against Bryan Woo. Something to keep in mind with Leote over at first base right now.
1 strike pitch, and Carter takes a little bit off the plate. Carter, just 21 years old, recently turned 21. And here on this biggest homestand of the season for the Rangers, he's been a hero of sorts. 400 average with a couple of homers, and he takes his strike. 1-2. He has reached base safely with a hit or a walk now, in 14 straight games with a plate appearance to start his major league career. That's high. 2-2. Carter's a Rangers' top prospect, and was one of the top handful of prospects, according to all those different groups that track that sort of thing in baseball. Called up a little over 2 weeks ago. 2-2 pitch, and he'll take strike 3 call.
Let's go ahead and take you back to Marcus Semien's first at bat in the 1st inning, and kicking things off in this game with a solo shot against Bryan Woo. A two-seam fastball that did not have much sink to it at all, and Semien goes into that 2nd deck, and once again from the leadoff spot, been pretty incredible. 26 home runs on the season, and now 96 RBIs.
Here he is with Taveras out at first base, and he'll shoot that one foul over to the right side. Strike 1. So the note here with Semien, he hit that leadoff home run, 10th of the year. It's only the 11th time in Major League history that a player has had at least 10 leadoff homers in a season. He's one of 3 guys to do it this year. It's kind of amazing, the 1 strike pitch, and that's a good job by Raleigh to sell that one. Maybe a smidge low.
The other thing that sticks out are the RBIs. I mentioned now 96 on the season for Marcus. The year he hit 45 home runs, he only had 102 RBIs. And I say only, obviously that's a really big number, but he had 45 home runs. Right, he's got 26 home runs right now and 96 RBIs. So he's 6 RBIs short of matching the same total he had when he hit 45 home runs, 19 less than he has right now.
It's been a real big year for him. Tavares not going anywhere, and there's a swing and a miss. Wu strikes him out. And that's the second out of the inning. First strikeout swinging for Wu today. How about a word now from Kia?
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia.
I think Cal Rowley's worried about the first pitch they were going to throw to Corey Seager. Usually you have some kind of meeting. This might be something that happens late in the game. Right, hey, it's late, big spot right here, 7th, 8th inning, we're up by 1. Let's talk about how we're going to attack this guy. This is about heads up, super aggressive Corey Seager, who hit a missile in his first at-bat, turned into an out. Remember that line drive that he hit to first base, and for Cal Rowley, felt like it was worth burning a mound visit to have the conversation right now on how they wanted to attack Seager.
I couldn't read his lips exactly, but I think he said, "You ever been bowling? Just roll it up here." Might be your best strategy these days against Seager. He'll go after the first pitch and hits a towering shot. Way out to right. It is gone. Third of the year for Corey Seager, and the Rangers are back on top. It's 3-2.
Cool meeting, bro. That one worked out pretty well. Kind of unbelievable that they did that, and he comes back and he throws a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. It was a slider. Cal Rowley wanted it in, and instead it sat right in the middle for Seager to drill it for his 33rd home run of the season, tying his career high that he set last year for a single season.
Now Lowe takes inside, ball 1. So 2 home runs in the game for the Rangers, 1 by Semien, 1 by Seager. And 2 huge acquisitions 2 off seasons ago for this Rangers franchise, and now Lowe takes a strike, 1-1. Lowe lined out in the first inning. And that one's fouled off. Well, Wu, no doubt bummed about giving up that home run, but he's one of many who has been hurt by Corey Seager this year. Got a lot of guys, and that one fouled away. Stays 1-2.
Big difference from this year compared to last year. I mentioned that was his 33rd home run, ties the number that he had last year, and set a single season career high by a pretty large margin. It was 26 prior to him putting on a Ranger uniform. But the OPS that has followed this year compared to last year, right? 772 last year. He's up over 1,000 this year. So the home runs might be the same, but he has been a much better hitter.
Part of that is leading the league in doubles, leading the league in hitting. What a year for Corey Seager. Lowe has worked the count to 2-2 here. And Wu delivers. That's inside, full count. Try their darndest to appeal down to third base there to see if they could get anything from Jim Wolf. But Alan Porter wasn't having it. There's Jim. Had the plate yesterday. So a full count to Lowe. He also has great power. But he'll take inside. 90th walk this year for Lowe.
So now you got Bryan Woo a little frustrated and flustered. Obviously, you got the big home run from Corey Seager. He thought that he had Nathaniel Lowe struck out, and it was pretty close. And he can't finish him off, and so now he ends up walking him. So the Rangers putting some pitches on Bryan Woo right now, 25 so far in this inning, and it's a really good time for the pitching coach Pete Woodworth to come out and make sure that he can calm his young starter down. Remember, this is his rookie year, 17th start of his career, and perhaps one of the biggest ones that he has made so far in his brief career.
Yeah, these games every bit as intense and important for Seattle as they are for the Rangers. Obviously, we tend not to look at it from the other team's perspective as much, but the pressure's a little hot. Service had a meeting today with his team beforehand, so I mean, they're feeling it. They know what's going on. Josh Young, the batter, and he just gave up a strike right there. That one was low, but a called strike. Raleigh's really been working those back up into the zone for Alan Porter. 2 walks this inning. Taveras an 8-pitch walk scored on the Seager homer. Lowe a 7-pitch walk. He's at first. And Young takes outside 1-1. Service said today that part of the conversation he had with his team was that nobody has to be a hero, right? Everybody just do your job, stay within yourself, pass the baton, as we say. But they're in must-win territory in a big way. And a bouncer third base foul.
How was your baton passing? I bet you're pretty good in your track and field days.
No.
No?
It was terrible.
Really?
Oh, I got nervous. Yeah. I get nervous receiving the baton.
Yeah,
I get
for
very
sure.
nervous handing it off.
Receiving, it's the worst.
Yeah. Just holding your hand out there blindly, hoping somebody puts it in there.
That's a real trust fall there, that one.
I'll tell you what, passing the baton as a hitter, not good at that either. Unless strikeouts were passing the baton. The 1-2, that's low. So Wu a little wobbly here in the third inning. This will be his 30th pitch in the third here to Young. They want it up. Here it comes. And it's fought off the other way. Keep the count 2-2.
The Rangers today with their 2 home runs. Bryan Woo had allowed just 1 home run coming into this one in his last 7 starts. And he's really done a great job keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's got a very nice ground ball rate.
A big 2-2 pitch. And Young takes low. Fastball there at 96 from Wu. So this would be his 65th pitch of the game. And that is a big number. They're going to want to get as much length as they can out of the rookie. This 3-2, Young fights it off.
These 2 teams are in the same position, right, where they have no more off days the rest of the year. Every game is going to be big. None are going to be easy. You mentioned they're going home and taking on the Astros. We know that certainly can be tough on a pitching staff, and so at least trying to get potentially 5 innings out of your starters is pretty important right now. Trying to preserve that bullpen the best you can.
8th pitch of this at bat, and there will be a 9th. This is where Young can really be tough. Here's your wild card division at the moment. Rays with plenty of distance up at the top of the standings. Blue Jays have hung in there. They have a 1-game lead over Houston at the moment. And the Mariners, they're a half game back of Houston. They're fortunate that while they've had a little trouble here with the Rangers, that Houston has had a whole lot of trouble with Kansas City. Low going again. The 3-2 pitch is low. No. Oh my. Strike 3 called on Josh Young.
And Alan Porter bailed out Bryan Woo right there, but nonetheless it was still a really strong inning for the Rangers, because once again we got to see the Rangers shortstop Corey Seager come up big. Home run number 33 on the season, a 2-run shot to give the Rangers a 3-2 lead.
All right, 4th inning. First pitch, a breaking ball in there for a strike to Hernandez. Rangers up 3-2. And that's fouled back. No balls, 2 strikes on Teoscar Hernandez, the right fielder and cleanup hitter today for Seattle. It'll be Kelenic and Suarez to follow for Seattle. So Eovaldi back with the lead. And his 2-strike pitch, he strikes him out swinging. Got Hernandez to start the 4th.
A good way to start things here after the Rangers put 2 on the board and give them the lead, especially when you're facing a guy like Hernandez who hit that home run last time against Eovaldi. This is the split up in the zone, maybe a little bit more than he wanted it, but the speed differential does the job.
So Jarred Kelenic, he walked in his plate appearance in the 2nd inning, eventually was thrown out at the plate to end that inning. And he takes ball 1. The fastball runs a little bit tight. Well, what a massive call, by the way, to end the bottom of the 3rd. That's low. 3-0. The strikeout of Young. The pitch looked to have missed. Had that gone the other way, had it gone called as a ball, then it's another walk, and Garcia coming up with 2 men on. In an inning where Wu was, I mean, really had
like
to be
35?
fatiguing a little bit. Yeah, he was right around 35 anyway.
Yeah.
He had exceeded 30 pitches.
Let's take you back to what we're talking about here, and Josh Young putting together this great at bat and believes that he had ball 4, and I think everybody but Alan Porter believed he had ball 4.
Yeah, that was his 34th pitch of the inning. So a big one anyway. Here's a 3-1 to Kelenic, and he lines it to center. And Taveras to a knee makes the catch. There are 2 out in the 4th inning. All right, how about a word now from Academy Sports and Outdoors? With 2 quick outs, and now Suarez, he'll take a breaking ball up for ball 1.
We're talking about the American League West and American League wild card standings and that crazy series between the Royals and the Astros. 5 home runs in that game already today. The Royals leading 6-5, trying to sweep the Houston Astros at home. They still got some work to do. It's only the 5th inning there. But yikes, 4 of those home runs by the Kansas City Royals.
One in the air down the right side, foul. 2-1. It has really been something to watch from a distance. And you know, Houston then going to Seattle tonight and to play a 3-game series against the Mariners. And the Mariners, they've really handled Houston well. That is not a series that you would imagine Houston looks forward to. 2-1. And there's a strike. That'll even things up on Suarez.
Yeah, get your Mariners gear out. You're a Mariner fan.
Yes.
Monday through Wednesday. It's a conversation going around. Like, what do you root for in that series? For me, because the Rangers don't have the tiebreaker, I want the Mariners to win. I think.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout of Suarez. And Eovaldi through 4 innings looking better and better as we move on. Bottom of the 4th coming. It'll be Garcia, Jonah Heim, and Mitch Garver in a 3-2 game. Well, you know you can stream every out-of-market game live or on demand with MLB.tv. You get minor league games this year as well, although you better hustle. We're getting down to the end here. Go to MLB.tv for details. I always love this shot right here. In the back of the ballpark, full of fans on this Sunday afternoon in a huge game for both these teams. Rangers with a 3-2 lead on Seattle.
It's your standing room only view this postseason. To squeeze in the ballpark late.
We've seen a lot this year. Garcia pulls that one just foul. Almost got a piece of Jim Wolf, our third base umpire down there.
All right, so you and I, we certainly wonder about certain things here, and he's not just all muscle. Check out the footwork here.
Oh my!
Well,
got megged.
It was okay.
1 strike pitch, and that ball's launched deep out to left. That one is way gone. Adios, Adolis. Another shot into the second deck, and the Rangers on top 4-2.
Now, we had wondered yesterday if it was the shoes for Garcia, but no, I don't think so. It's the swing, it's the work, and he knew it right away and enjoyed every moment of it. Into that second deck in a hurry. It's the 3rd home run of the afternoon for the Rangers against Wu.
Now Jonah Heim. Wu deals high and outside. His 70th pitch of the night. And Garcia with a little celebration with Ezekiel Duran. 36 home runs this year for El Bombi. What a year he's having. 1-1 now on Heim. Infield shaded around to the right side with Jonah up there. They're not shifted. You can't shift. That's low. 2-1. But you can shade, and Suarez well off that third base line. About as far up the middle as Crawford can go at short. Ooh. 2-2. That's a little check swing like that. That could be real trouble for Seattle if that were to stay fair. Now that wasn't close, but
It's hard to check swing and go 75 off the bat. That was the exit velocity on that foul ball.
yeah, a lot of space right there. Jonah pulls this one foul, stays 2-2. I mentioned might be getting toward the end of the afternoon for Wu. Isaiah Campbell, Gabe Spire, both not only warming up, both look like they're pretty close to ready if needs be. And there's a strikeout of Jonah. 1 away.
We know Jonah at times can become susceptible to the elevated fastball. This one at 96 miles an hour. And I told you earlier that four-seamer gets a lot of swing and miss. We saw Logan Gilbert yesterday from a velocity standpoint. Very similar. We see him throw probably even a little bit harder than Brian Wu, but it is more of a contact pitch for him. With the characteristics of Wu's fastball, it generates much more swing and miss.
Garver in the air out to right field, and Hernandez can't get to it. Boy, Mitch has sort of perfected the little flop shot for a base hit.
Well, he certainly has. He had that big hit in yesterday's ball game. I believe he hit it about 68 miles an hour. This one at 70. And you always want, you want to hit it significantly before the pin and let it roll up to the pin. You don't shoot for the pin, otherwise it would have been a fly out. Amateur mistake.
Here's Taveras now. 8-pitch walk to start last inning, and he'll take a fastball away. So with that action in the bullpen, you'd figure Wu, he may not get back around to Marcus Semien. Right, it may well be that they don't want him to go through a third time today. The game started with Semien taking him deep. Marcus grew up in Alameda, still has a home there in Alameda, and just down the road, like literally around the corner, a couple of houses down, is where Brian Wu grew up. These guys are neighbors. Not real close in age. Marcus told me yesterday, he's like, well, I'm old.
Marcus, he's like the old man in the neighborhood yelling at everybody.
He's literally
telling
10
those
years
kids to
older.
keep it down.
I mean, but yeah, he's the elder statesman there.
I think Brian Wu, like one time this ball went into Marcus's yard, and he said, "Now I'm keeping it." Like that kind of old man.
I could see it. I don't know if the neighbors are going to get a chance to square off again today, though. 2-2. The count on Taveras. We'll see. How cool is that neighborhood, though? I know kids today don't do it quite the same way we did growing up, where you actually played baseball in your neighborhood with the other neighborhood kids. So that's probably not exactly how it works. But that's a pretty talent-rich neighborhood.
Yes, I'm sure a little bit of MLB The Show online, at least, with your neighbors.
Well, yeah, for sure.
That's the new that's their version of what you're talking about.
Oh, this ball hit well. Deep out toward the bullpen. Does this one have enough? Yes, it does. A Taveras home run. A 2-run blast. And it's been a long day for Brian Wu. 6-2 Rangers.
4 home runs this afternoon and smiles all the way around. We were talking earlier about Taveras and these adjustments that he has made in September and what a difference it has made for the Ranger offense to be able to get this kind of production at the bottom. That short swing, shorter follow through, but squares it up and hits it 403 feet, ending the afternoon of Brian Wu.
An unusual day for the rookie pitcher. He is hammered by the Rangers today. 6-2 the score. Rangers into the pen when we come back. 6-2 Rangers with the lead here. It's still early, 4th inning, but 4 home runs so far this afternoon. This huge series with Seattle. By the way, American League Division Series tickets, they go on sale tomorrow for home games here at Globe Life Field. You can go to Rangers.com/postseason to check it out, and make sure you get in there quickly tomorrow. LDS tickets on sale. Rangers leading the division by a game and a half coming into play, and the 2 teams in pursuit, the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. Well, taking care of business so far here today against Seattle. Houston continues to trail at home to Kansas City. It's 6-5 Royals, and that game is in the top of the 6th. And so now Gabe Spire goes to work to Evan Carter.
66th game for this left-hander. You can see him at 50 in a 3rd innings. He's given up 6 home runs this year. You got 2-seam fastball, slider, and 4-seamer. Every once in a while you see a changeup. It's been really good against lefties in the sense of generating the strikeouts this year. 30% of the lefties, nearly 1 in 3, he has struck out this season that he's faced.
This one on the ground, just foul past first base. 1-2 the count. Carter's been a big lift to this Rangers lineup, and of course has done a great job defensively as well. He's settled into a spot in left field for this team.
All right, Dave, you see the combined feet there, 1,643.
Yeah.
Will we fly that far today in miles?
I was going to say we'll definitely fly more than that.
Yeah.
Feet. Here's a swing and a miss, and Carter strikes out.
What do you think? How far do you think the flight is?
No, I don't think it's that far.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I don't know, around 1,000 miles, maybe inside 1,000 miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't. I'm just guessing. Here comes Marcus Semien. 7 strikeouts so far today. Now Spire looking all over. The throw was a little high out to him. It's never fun for a guy. Semien homered in the 1st inning. Struck out his last time up. And he hits this ball a ton. Deep out to center. Rodriguez near the wall, leaps up. And it's off his glove and over the fence. Semien with It's just straight madness today. 7-2 Rangers.
And perhaps a slight assist from Julio Rodriguez, who we know is a great defender in center field, and he has robbed some home runs in his early career, but he couldn't get this one as Marcus Semien drills it to center, and it was not going to get out on its own, and it was off the glove and pushed over the fence by Julio. A different kind of outfield assist.
Canseco-esque.
Joe Adele did it here at this ballpark. Remember that one, Nick Solak, and a little tip of the cap, sort of.
Off the plate, 1-1 to Corey Seager. Listen, that is a spectacular player you're looking at right there. And I mean, it was a great effort.
Yeah.
On the ball. It just sometimes little freakish things do happen.
Give him some credit. Like, he's kind of smiling through it a little bit, like, I can't believe that happened. I'm not built like that.
No, it's hard. It's got to be really hard. And that ball hit out to left field. Not going to carry for Seager. Kelenic will make the catch, and the inning is done. But the Rangers just keep on adding 3 home runs in the inning, and they lead 7-2. Well, we welcome you back for the 5th inning, brought to you by Audi. And it has been something else inside here. Globe Life Field today, 74 degrees indoors. It was 97 at game time outside. And a breaking ball from Eovaldi here, in there for a strike on Mike Ford. Rangers with a 7-2 lead. And that one also a strike. 0-2 the count. Ford struck out in the 2nd inning. Eovaldi has 6 strikeouts through the first 4. Now works with a much more comfortable cushion, and his 2-strike pitch, Ford fouls it back. It's given a note by Steve Hunt, our statistician, about Marcus Semien. He has 3 multi-homer games now this year, including today. All 3 have happened this month. I mean, that's pretty wild. I mean, that's a nice year, right? You have 3 multi-homer games in a year. Great, man. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. We still have like a week to go in the month. He's done it all here in September.
I'll take another.
Man,
get greedy at this point.
Ford hits this in the air center field. Should hang up a little bit for Taveras. It does. And that's the first out of the 5th inning. Give us a moment to slide over here for Baylor's Scott and White Health.
Doc says you're good.
Ty France has a base hit that came in the 2nd inning, and it ended that 2nd inning because it was his single to center, and they had Kelenic at second base at the time, and Kelenic was waved around third. He was trying to score on the plate. He was out by a mile at the plate. And this ball is hit out to right field, and that one will carry right to the base of the fence. And France hustles into second with a 1-out double. All of a sudden, maybe Ty France coming out of something. He's been in a funk lately.
It's a split here from Nate Eovaldi. You can see this ball start just to cut a little bit and sit more over the middle of the plate. Looked like he was trying to throw that one that he's throwing to Rodriguez a couple of times today, where you get underneath maybe the hands a little bit. But again, with this kind of lead right now, you don't want to be shooting necessarily corners too often. You go right at these guys. Not to say you just throw the ball down the middle, but filling up the strike zone right now, especially for Eovaldi, as that pitch count gets up for him.
Breaking ball. This one rolled down to first base. Lowe will feed Eovaldi. And they get Rojas. That is the second out of the inning, but France does move up to third base. Top of the order coming up. We check in with Emily.
Well, we all know we've experienced at the roller coaster that this last couple of months have been, and I keep coming back to what Bruce Bochy kept saying, that the pressure is a privilege and that you embrace these types of situations. And I think that, you know, when you look at the way this team has handled the ups and the downs and the way they've responded here, especially in this series against Toronto, it really does emphasize the importance of having that steady hand of Bruce Bochy that's, you know, seen everything. And he admitted that this was one of the more emotionally stressful seasons of his career, but he remained steady nonetheless.
Bouncer shortstop, and Seager throws out J.P. Crawford, and that ends the inning. A shutdown inning for Eovaldi. Rangers are halfway there this afternoon, leading 7-2. All right, back now for the bottom of the fifth inning, brought to you by Audi. Well, those two can still be friends. It's okay. We got a lot of fans from both teams here today, mostly Rangers fans. Make no mistake about that. 7-2, Rangers on top, and they are certainly having more fun this afternoon. It will be Lowe, Young, and Garcia near the bottom of the fifth. Last home game of the regular season. Rangers hit the road. They go to Anaheim this afternoon. Play a 3-game series against the Angels beginning tomorrow night, and then it's off to Seattle for the final 4 games of the season beginning Thursday night. Lowe goes right after strike one here from Edward Buzardo.
Buzardo's got a slider, 4-seam fastball, 2-seamer, and a split. You can see the combination. Just 9 games in the big leagues with the Baltimore Orioles, and now here with the Seattle Mariners.
Jumps ahead 0-2 now on Nathaniel. 7 runs, 6 hits for the Rangers. 4 of their 6 hits have gone over the fence. No, 5. 5 of their 6 hits.
But, you know, they're really not giving the Mariners much of a chance to play defense.
It's really kind of not very sporting, especially under the circumstances. There's a foul back out of play. I mean, really. Really kind of a chicken way to go about it.
I'm enjoying it. It's fun to watch. I mean, obviously, even Julio Rodriguez likes seeing those balls go over the fence. He helped it a little bit.
Bouncer up the middle. Buzardo kicks it towards second. Rojas quickly to first, and they get Lowe. The 1-4-3 put out.
Kind of a Buzardo out here, if you will, for poor Nathaniel Lowe. Looked like he might have had himself a base hit. You see it go, look like off the left ankle or inside the leg of Buzardo, and just a bad hop, bad luck hop for Nathaniel.
One away. It brings up Josh Young. Buzardo deals very high here. So Spire came in to get the last 2 outs last inning. A short outing for him. And Young pops this one up. Playable for Rojas. And quiet 2 outs to start the 5th inning. So when you talk about home runs in this ballpark's history, well, here's the guy who owns the title, Adolis Garcia, and oh boy, the one he hit in the 4th inning, that was impressive. I mean, that was lined into that second deck out in left field. It wasn't one of those towering shots that fell in there. I mean, that thing was absolutely powdered. 60 times he's done it here at Globe Life Field. He takes Low, 1-1. I'll say this, boy. Adolis Garcia, he has provided fans in this ballpark so much excitement, so many thrills. Just think of kids who may have covered their first ever game and just happen to catch one that he hits. He hits them differently, you know, and then he's chosen times to win games, extra innings, whatever. And when he does it, you know, everybody knows it. He puts on a little bit of a show. Gosh, it's just got to be a real thrill for somebody to see for the first time. 2-2.
And his home runs are definitely different, right? I mean, the Rangers generally are a team, they go about their business. And you don't see too much emotion. They're very professional in what they do. And then get a guy like Garcia who's going to have just a little bit more fun. That walk-off that he had and the reaction when he hit it was pretty special.
He strikes out here, and Bizardo, pretty efficient fifth inning, a 1-2-3. Takes us to the 6th this afternoon, 7-2. Well, this was the 4th inning. Marcus Semien's second home run of the day. He got a little help. Julio Rodriguez flips that one over the wall. Let's go back to 1993, shall we? Is Jose Canseco with the classic, the header over the fence. That was Carlos Martinez with a home run. David Holtz couldn't help but making Canseco smile and laugh after that one, as this time Rodriguez rolls it up the middle, and that's a base hit. So he exacts his own revenge there with a single. And the Mariners have the lead man on in the 6th inning.
Well, the Rangers really have done a nice job against Julio Rodriguez here this afternoon, as he's pointing out to Marcus Semien. Again, having some fun with it. Joking about him, giving him a home run.
There's a first pitch strike to Raleigh. So 30 years after the Canseco header, and Rodriguez earns a spot. I mean, listen, this also just happens to come under a little bit of a microscope, that play.
No doubt. And a guy, listen, I mean.
Ooh, that one just underneath of Lowe's glove out into right field. Rodriguez hustling around to third. And so Cal Raleigh is on back-to-back singles in the 6th.
Ball hit pretty hard, 102 off the bat here, and it's going to get on Nathaniel pretty quickly, but he was there. I think he'll probably tell you he would expect to come up with that one. He was in position and just stayed down on him, maybe anticipating that it would come up a little bit. He catches it cleanly, and there's a decent chance that that's a double play. It was hit so hard.
And here comes Mike Maddox now with couple of men on and nobody out.
So remember, we talked about coming off the IL. This is his 5th start. No rehab assignment for Nate Eovaldi. He went 35 pitches in the first one, 47, 73, and then 82. And you say, well, I see 78 pitches. Would they want to push maybe to try to get him to 90? Well, the 82 pitches last time were 5 straight innings, right? So he's back out for a 6th inning, up a 6th time. You should see Martin Perez taking some warm-up tosses down in the Ranger bullpen. Of course, they're also trying to win this game. It's really important. So yeah, they wouldn't mind pushing a little bit, but I don't think it's a necessity that they get over those 82 pitches just in the name of trying to build up that pitch count for Eovaldi, who's been pretty incredibly efficient for most of today.
Yeah, that's a secondary concern, right? I mean,
Yeah.
First things first, make sure that you're in a position to win the ball game, and this is a big spot right here now. While the Rangers have had the fun with 5 home runs and a 7-2 lead, they do not want to let a good Mariners team back in it. Rodriguez at third base, Raleigh at first, and here is Teoscar Hernandez. He homered in the 2nd inning. And he takes right down the middle, strike 1. Teams even in the hit column today, both teams with 6 hits, and Hernandez takes a little bit low. The Rangers, though, have hit a lot of home runs, and that has helped them to the 7-2 lead today. Final game of this series.
And this is an area for Eovaldi where he really has excelled as he goes through this Mariners order a third time. Now, again, he's fifth start off the IL, so things a little bit different. But there was a reason why he was on the Cy Young Award track. How about 155 as a batting average, third time through the order, second best in all of baseball.
Two balls and two strikes. He's done a nice job with the strikeout today. He got Hernandez last time they squared off. 6 strikeouts so far. And the 2-2, a swing and a foul ball. Hernandez will extend the at bat.
He tried that same split to a righty, kind of down and in to get them to swing over the top. He did it twice to Julio Rodriguez. We saw it earlier with, I don't know who he did it the second time to. Oh, Hernandez. When he got Hernandez out last time with a strikeout, he went with that split underneath his hands. And you can see the location of what they're trying to do again and go into the well one more time.
All right, 2-2. And buries that one. Curveball down in the dirt, and Hernandez did not chase. He is prone to striking out, as we have discussed. Closing in on 200 now this year. And he does chase the 3-2. There's a foul ball.
To the split again. You know, watching this at bat unfold, this is fascinating right here, because obviously Hernandez already hit the home run against Nate Eovaldi. He came in 4 for 12 against him with a couple of other extra base hits, so he has seen him well, but he's also struck out now 7 times in 14, or I should say 16 total plate appearances in his career. I'm curious if he wants to try to elevate the fastball, but so far it's been all off speed down.
3-2. So he loses Hernandez and the bases are loaded. And that gets Bruce Bochy out there to make the move. He signals to the bullpen. Well, this one has been all Rangers to this point, but the Mariners stiffening just a little bit in this 6th inning, showing some life. Jarred Kelenic coming to the plate, and the Rangers are into that pin on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, time now for our Sage pitching decisions, and we know that Nate Eovaldi was on the mound here this afternoon. He made a lot of really good decisions, as he has been good and was good against the Seattle Mariners this afternoon. 5 innings, 6 strikeouts for him. He has allowed a couple of home runs, 2 runs so far. Now the bases are loaded, and he is responsible for all 3 of those runners, and so it'll be up to Martin Perez now, coming out of the Ranger bullpen. And we have seen Martin doing some great work as a reliever in his 13 games. 2.57 ERA compared to the nearly 5 ERA that he had as a starter this year.
Goes right after Kelenic with strike 1.
How about 13 games? He's got 7 ground ball double plays out of the bullpen. Obviously a great time for one right now, and something that has always been a calling card for Martin.
Feels a little low here to Kelenic. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kelenic has bounced into 6 double plays this season. Young backing up a little bit at third. And that one's a beauty. Strike 2 called on Kelenic.
Interesting to see Kelenic kind of ask Alan Porter, you know, is he sure he had that? Did he think it was up, out, whatever it may be? That had a ton of strikes on it.
Yeah, that was very clearly in. I think it just kind of surprised him. 1-2, and there's a breaking ball in the dirt. I don't know, maybe Kelenic was guessing a little bit and trying to guess ahead on Martin, but he seemed almost a little surprised by that previous fastball. Rodriguez at third, Raleigh at second, Hernandez the runner at first for Seattle. Big pitch from Martin coming, and a bouncer right side. Semien will go to second. They'll get the 1 out. That's it. It does get a run home. 7-3 the score, and the Mariners have him on the corners on the fielder's choice.
Nothing you can really do about this at all for Marcus Semien. He wants to make sure he gets that lead runner, but no chance at a double play. about the no slide from Hernandez? We are seeing more and more of that in the game now. He didn't even get to the bag. The Yankees are a team in particular that actually teach their base runners to go ahead and run through the bag. That's second.
Yeah, I don't get it. Unless it's to be a distraction.
I think it's part of it. I think also the idea, I can't remember, it was something that had to do with, you know, whether or not, if it was a close play or they missed a call and they keep going, getting a kind of a rundown situation. If there's a runner at third, it makes some sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you be in violation of the slide rule if you just run through second base?
If you run into him, no. But if you run into the infielder, sure. Yes, 100%. But no.
Raleigh at third, Kelenic at first. The 2-0 pitch, that's fouled over to the right side. Out of play by Suarez. 2-1. Suarez has struck out a couple of times in the ball game today. Now this would be a spot here where, again, talking about ground ball double plays, if Martin could get that and be out of this inning, that would be a huge momentum shifter, or maybe secure the momentum in a really profound way. It might be better said. The Rangers have had the momentum, leading 7-2 coming into the inning, but with the bases loaded, nobody out. That's a challenging spot for Martin. 3-1, and that is high in the air, center field. Might be deep enough. Taveras is underneath it. Raleigh tags. It won't even attempt a play at the plate. He scores on the sacrifice fly, and so it's 7-4.
That's a good job here by Martin so far to get a couple of outs, right? I mean, obviously got bases loaded, nobody out. You're anticipating realistically at least one run scoring. You just don't want the inning to get away from you. Try to limit the damage, and so far, you know, 2 runs across, you'll take it if you can finish it right here.
So Sam Haggerty will bat for Ford. His day is done. Ford finished 0 for 2. And Haggerty will take over the DH duties from here. Fouls that one straight down for strike 1. Our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game with 2 outs in this series. You can see the great disparity for the Rangers in terms of batting average, but with runners in scoring position as well. They've scored 8 of their runs with 2 outs, while the Mariners just 2 in the series coming with 2 out. Perez trying to slam the door on this 6th inning now with 2 away. Kelenic the only runner now. He's at first. No 2 from Martin, and this one is lined into left field. That's a base hit. Kelenic heading to third base. Acta's going to send him, the ball rolling along the wall out there, and Carter just had a heck of a time corralling it. That is an RBI triple for Haggerty. It's 7-5, and it brings a potential tying run to the plate all of a sudden.
We know that the outfield corners here can be a little bit of an issue because of the sharp angles that you get. You take a look at this pitch. Now it was an 0-2 pitch that caught too much of the plate here from Martin Perez. But let's see what happened here with Evan Carter. Oh, guess what happened. Here we go. Now we're going to look at it. You don't know what kind of bounce you're going to get yet. He got too close to the ball, came in there too hot. You want to give yourself some space because there's a variety of bounces that you are going to get in each of the corners here in left and right field at Globe Life Field. So a little bit over aggressive because Kelenic was not going to try to score on that. He was kind of pulling into third. Then once he saw it get past Evan Carter, he took off and scored.
So that run charged to Martin. Oh, I take that back. Charged to Eovaldi. France now the batter, and he takes strike 1.
Yeah, because it's the fielder's choice, right? When he came in, that was the first batter that he faced, but Hernandez was eliminated on a fielder's choice, and so then Eovaldi actually inherits Kelenic even though he didn't face it.
There's a strike. And it's 0-2 on Ty France. France has had a good game. A single, a double. He had a base hit in his last at bat yesterday. After which he ended up hugging his first base coach, as it has been a struggle. The 0-2, that is low. 1-2. And France was in a pretty bad slide, but now 3 for his last 3. Infield is back. The 1-2 pitch, and that bounces up there. Good job by Heim to keep it close. So somehow or another, we found ourselves back into a spot where these late innings look like they could be fairly tense again. 2-2. And that's in the air, center field. Going to be playable for Leote. And he makes the catch. The inning is done. The Mariners, they'll play 3 runs. They'll leave a man at third. Last of the 6 coming up. It's a 2-run game.
Well, it's time for an update on Houston. The Royals, Salvador Perez with a 2-run shot here off of Hunter Brown. Brown's 4th home run allowed today put the Royals up 6-2. But get this, Dave, Astros trying to stay in it at 6-5 Royals in the top of the 9th.
So that one getting very close to concluding. And they have just played a wild series down there in Houston, the way Kansas City has taken the first 2, and now hold on. And last night after the game, we finished up here. The guys went into the clubhouse and locked into the end of the game down in Houston, cheering for a little help, and they got it. Boy, this would be big today. If the Rangers can hold on here, and if Kansas City can hold on in Houston, boy, does that make the start of the road trip look a lot better.
From a wild card standpoint, the Blue Jays have already won today. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays. I'd like to see them lose a couple of games, just feel just a little bit better. But right now, they're in the second wild card spot.
Jonah Heim takes a pitch right at the bottom of the zone for a strike. 1-1. Heim, Garver, and Taveras in the 6th inning.
Jonah Heim complaining about that pitch call and still having some words with Alan Porter. Of course, you remember the big one. And that was probably a better looking pitch than the one we saw against Josh Young. But that was still a ball, I think.
I was trying to get the sense, though, that Alan Porter will give that low strike. This one lined out to center field. Rodriguez is back, and he'll make the catch. Heim is retired to start the 6th inning. Now let's hear from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
You know, I don't want to see the Rangers catch the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've kind of been tracking that all year and using the Major League Baseball advanced media data that you can get on Baseball Savant. The Rangers have the 2nd most pitches outside the strike zone called strikes this year. Coming into today, 545. The Pirates have 558. A lot of pitches over the course of a season, and to give you some perspective there, 368 for the White Sox, fewest in baseball. So not quite 200 less.
It's interesting.
It's a big number. Just, you know, one of those things. I think it's just a matter of trends and which umpires you end up getting, and there's certainly nothing nefarious behind it. As fans may want to sometimes think that's a possibility. It's not.
Sure would be fun, though. To it. Give me somebody to yell at. The 2-1, and that's fouled away. 2-2. Well, maybe your offensive approach too, right? Rangers have been really good, very selective, and they lay off a lot of close pitches. And I think there's a commitment even to, look, we'll have a couple called against us that we won't like, but that's okay if we can be really disciplined and get most of those calls that are on the edges our way. Then over the long term, that'll put us in a better spot.
100%. The guys, when you start to look at the individuals, the ones that are at the top of the list are some very patient hitters. They don't expand the strike zone very often, and so they're going to have some of those borderline pitches that are just outside the strike zone called more. We've talked so much about Adolis Garcia this year and his patience. Well, he has the 8th most pitches that have gone against him called strikes that were outside of the strike zone this year. And he was even on the IL for a little while, and he's still top 10 in baseball.
Garver laid off a close one there and draws the walk. Taveras, who homered his last time up, fouls away strike one. He's been on twice today, a walk and a home run. He has scored both times. He's driven in 2. It's another really good game at the plate for Leote. And he serves this one out to left field. Kelnick able to run to it and make the catch. So here comes Evan Carter. Oh, and Evan Carter was called up. We were told, look, I mean, we're calling him up to save the season. He earned it. And we could use a little help. Adolis Garcia had just been injured. This is fouled away, strike one. At the time, the Rangers were in their largest hole of the season. They were 3 games behind Houston in the division, 3rd place in the division. And he made his debut on a Friday, September 8th against Oakland. Well, since he's been here for 2 weeks, they've turned that around. They're now in 1st place. And this ball's hit well. Deep out to right. Evan Carter has done it again. A 2-run shot. Maybe he is the savior.
And how cool is it for that kid who's got that baseball right now? Let's be honest. 2 kids here. One ended up with the baseball and one hit the home run. Huge smiles between first and second base for Evan Carter. 4-seam fastball, a little cut to it. They wanted it away, and he knew it when he hit it. No doubter, a bomb for Evan Carter. And we were told maybe a little bit of power, but that's not his game. I think we were duped. Tremendous power, and a great job by Dad out there to get that ball for his son.
Now a ground ball shortstop. Crawford throws out Simeon, and the inning is done. What a day. 6 home runs for the Rangers. The last one by the 21-year-old rookie, Evan Carter. No, sir. Thank you.
Chevy Under the Hood time, and this afternoon we find our guy Josh Young. Favorite baseball movie, The Sandlot. Biggest fear, snakes. Is it salt or pepper? Gotta go pepper for Mr. Young.
Wait till he gets a little older. It'll turn to salt.
I thought
Agreed.
it was salt and pepper.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's
No, it's
either
salt
or,
and
Dave.
pepper.
It's pick one.
Salt and pepper, that's what that is. All right. Well, Rangers back to a little bit more comfortable lead at 9-5, thanks to that 2-run homer by Evan Carter. 7th inning now, and Perez did a great job last inning coming in to douse the Flames just a little bit. And now we get a clean 7th. 1-strike pitch on the way to Rojas, and that is off the plate. Pardon me, Dylan Moore. And that is outside. 2-1. Okay, that's a little low. 3 balls and a strike to Moore.
Remember that ball Moore hit yesterday off the top of the wall, thought it was gone, was convinced it was gone. Could have used a little Julio Rodriguez out there.
Here's a pop-up on the right side of the infield, and Lowe takes care of it. So Moore, a very quick out to start the 7th inning. And now here's J.P. Crawford. 17th time in club history that the Rangers have hit 6 home runs in a game. It's the first time in 5 years. All the outfielders. Carter and Taveras and Garcia, they all have homered in this one.
It's funny you were talking about the energy, and of course we love it with the Adolis Garcia home runs and the moments for him. And it's also kind of fun now watching Evan Carter hit his. He almost looks a little surprised when he does it. Like, he gets really excited. Like, Garcia's done it a lot, right? You mentioned it, the most in this ballpark, and it's kind of a big league kind of pimp job that he does, right? But with Evan, it's more of that little kid excitement.
Yeah.
And I say that he's 21 years old. He's a man, but it's kind of fun to watch a young player first time around here in the big leagues and to see that pure joy on his face, especially these last couple that he's hit.
Perez, that's a beauty in there for a strike.
I feel like in his head he's saying, I just hit a home run in the big leagues. I just hit a home run in the big leagues. Right? That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's fun.
2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, a strikeout of Crawford. And so Martin has come in. He's looked really good. 2 gone in the 7th.
He ties him up with that good 2-seam fastball here. And I like this pitch a lot when you go left on left. Start it on the inner third, let it run off the plate. It's a tough pitch for a left-handed hitter who more often than not is looking for something out over the plate. And Crawford comes up empty.
Perez, that's a fastball right on the inside corner. A strike to Julio Rodriguez, who is 1 for 3. And Rodriguez lifts this down the right side. That's a long strike. Count 0-2 now. Boy, Perez has been a real steady influence out of that bullpen. He has pitched some real clutch innings for this team in the last couple of weeks. Left-hander trying to make it a 1-2-3-7. Here it is. And that's just a bit up.
That's a great 0-2 pitch, though, from Martin. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter, up and in. Now you set up a couple of different things here. And that change-up away. You can try the backdoor cutter. You can try the front door 2-seamer again if you want, which is a calling card for him. Maybe bury a breaking ball.
Two and two. Time call.
It looked like Martin might have gone a little bit quick there. We'll see what Alan Porter is doing, unless it was just Julio calling timeout.
Apparently it was. Looked like he gestured toward Rodriguez. Yeah, and then Rodriguez almost apologizing there.
I gotta tell you, I don't think he should have gotten that timeout. You see where when he put his hand up, Martin had already lifted his leg. It's not an automatic. We've covered that.
It's just outside. So he's missed on 3 close ones now, and it's a full count to a dangerous hitter. Really good crowd here reacting to each call of ball or strike from Alan Porter. That's inside. He loses Rodriguez. A 2-out walk.
And a couple of times where he tried to go in with the 4-seam fastball. Seemed like Martin maybe overthrew it a little bit. He had the 1-2 and then there the 3-2. And we're trying to put a little bit more velocity on it. And so, for Martin right now, as we saw Chris Stratton down there, Cal Raleigh could be his last hitter. You have Hernandez hitting behind him. So the switch hitter Cal Raleigh, you can turn him around, which you'd prefer to do. Make him hit right-handed.
Raleigh fouls that first pitch back out of play. Nathan Eovaldi went 5+ today. Pitched into that 6th inning, but had loaded the bases with nobody out and had to be lifted. Perez trying to give the Rangers 2 good innings here. Is 1-strike pitch that is outside. 1-1. Mentioned the good crowd again today. 35,412 are paid attendance. Rangers averaging a little better than 31,000 a game this year.
And so that brings them up over $2.5 million. First time we've seen that since 2016. And the players certainly have rewarded the fans who have come out here with 49 wins, shooting for number 50 here this afternoon in his ballpark.
Boy, and quite a few fireworks in the final home game of the year. They have certainly entertained with a season high 6 home runs. It's been 5 years since they had homered 6 times in a game. That was against the Twins in September of 18. The ball game they won 18-4. The 1-2 to Raleigh, and it's off the plate. It's a Rangers team that went out and they were aggressive at the free agent market the last 2 years. And it has borne some fruit here in 2023. 2-2 pitch in the dirt.
This is big right here, and you want Martin to go right at Cal Raleigh. He's got great pop. We know that. Most home runs of any catcher in the big leagues. 30 of them coming into today, but you don't want a free pass here with Hernandez on deck. You take your chances in the zone. Certainly Martin knows that. We just showed you a little while ago the balls and strike breakdown for him this afternoon. Not as good as it had been for Martin lately, but he's battling right now.
He just walked Rodriguez. Missed on a couple of close ones. His payoff to Cal Raleigh. And that's high. So back-to-back 2-out walks in the 7th inning. And Bruce Bochy will make that signal. So Perez is done, and Chris Stratton headed in here with 2 men on in a 9-4 lead, 7th inning. 9-5, Rangers leading, but Seattle trying to apply a little pressure here in the 7th inning. Hey, full and half season ticket plans for next season are on sale now. You get priority access to this year's postseason with a purchase of a plan for next year, as well as next year's All-Star events to be held here at Globe Life Field. Check it out now, Rangers.com/season tickets. Well, the Mariners have a couple of base runners on in the 7th inning. Teoscar Hernandez coming to the plate, and Chris Stratton checking in.
On for the 21st time as a Ranger, 63rd time overall this season.
He's off the plate with ball 1 here to Hernandez. A little buzz throughout the crowd here just a moment ago as the news that Houston has lost again kind of trickled through the stands. There's a swing and a miss, 1-1. So the Kansas City Royals sweep Houston in Houston in that 3-game series.
A good example of why you don't get too worked up about schedule in our sport. It's something we talk about often in football, and it makes some sense, but it's a lot different in baseball.
Stratton's 1-2, and it's fouled off. Fastball there at 93 miles per hour. Trying to keep those 2 guys from scoring. Rodriguez and Raleigh. The 1-2, and this one is hit softly up the middle. That is a base hit. They're going to send Rodriguez. No throw coming from Leote. So Hernandez drives in a run in the 7th inning.
Now this is the curveball from Stratton. You're going to see way out front is Hernandez, but he keeps the hands back just long enough to catch this off the end of the bat. It sounded like he may have broken his bat. He did not hit this baseball hard at all, and so that soft single leads to an RBI after the back-to-back 2-out walks from Martin Perez.
And those proved to be pretty costly now. A couple of men out there for Jared Kelenic, and timeout asked for by Jonah Heim. Now that is a disengagement. You can see the signal there from Alan Porter. Index finger pointed out to each side. So it counts as a disengagement from Artine. It's first pitch to Kelenic. Pardon me, to Stratton. And Stratton in there for strike one.
You know, which in this situation, I don't think is much of a concern.
No.
Right? You have first and second. You're not holding the runner at first. You're probably not going to throw over to second base. You'd like to have the step off, at least one available if you need it. And if you're sitting there and you come set and all of a sudden you get uncomfortable with what's going on, then you always want to make sure you have at least one.
You just have to be aware.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it is just be aware of what that number is. We saw it come up when we were in Minnesota, and Aroldis Chapman didn't know. 0-2 pitch, and that's outside. And as a result, once he did pick over for what he thought was a second time, it turns out was a third disengagement and resulted in the runners advancing. In any case, Stratton just has to know. The 1-2, and that's in the dirt.
Shockingly, Chris Bassett did know when he tried to track down Mitch Garver at third when he had that big lead. That'll be the highlight of the new rules error.
Yeah.
2 disengagements. Mitch Garver's got a monster lead because nobody's near him at third, and Bassett thought he could catch him. It's a balking, and he scores.
2-2 here, and that one is out into left field. A base hit into third. Raleigh, they will send him. The throw comes back into second. So an RBI single by Kelenic. Credit these Seattle Mariners. They are not going away quietly.
And this is also on a curveball here. Back-to-back base hits off the Stratton curveball. This one kind of stays up and on the outer third, and it is a good piece of hitting by Jared Kelenic. See the head down there? He's trying to hit the ball the other way, and now Mike Maddox is going to come out for a visit. Now Stratton had gone unscored upon in his last 5 outings, but one of those in his very last one that he threw 15 pitches, only got 1 out. He had a strikeout, but he had a couple of walks and a base hit. He got some help and got out of that inning without any runs. And technically still in that situation as far as his own runs go, but he's just trying to finish this one off and get the Rangers hitting again, back in the dugout with the lead.
So Maddox done with the conversation. There are 2 out in the inning, and that's one thing the Mariners have done as well. They drove in a run last inning with 2 outs. For a couple of 2-out runs here in the 7th, so they are showing some fight at the end of these innings. Jonathan Hernandez getting loose in a hurry out there for the Rangers. Well, Suarez, the batter, 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. And the pitch from Stratton, that one right at the top of the zone for a strike. The tying runs are on base for the Mariners. Got a wild one here this afternoon. And that's in the air, foul territory. Lowe staying with it, but he won't have a chance. Strike 2.
Yeah, so we wonder about the Ranger bullpen here a little bit. You just saw Jonathan Hernandez warming up. It's not necessarily thin, but probably no Aroldis Chapman today. They'd like to stay away from Andrew Heaney. You've already seen Chris Stratton in this game, but everybody else available. Hernandez hasn't pitched, or Will Smith in 3 days. And the reason we talked about, we're not sure about that starter on Tuesday. Cody Bradford is down there. He certainly would be a candidate. But Brock Burke is really fresh. I thought he may be a guy that could be playing a big role here in this afternoon's game.
2-strike offering, and that one's lined just over short. That's a base hit. It's a 1-run game. Holy moly. Eugenio Suarez with a 2-out RBI single. 9-8.
Make it now 5 straight that have reached here with 2 outs against the Rangers. This is an 0-2 fastball that's just a little bit close to the strike zone. It's out of the strike zone, but not enough for a chase pitch. As you can see, Suarez getting to it and squaring it up pretty good at 104 off the bat.
Mariners now 4 for 8 today with runners in scoring position. So the designated hitter, Sam Haggerty, was due up, but it will be Canzone announced as the pinch hitter. And so with that news, Bruce Bochy heads out to the mound. 3 straight singles off Stratton. He's out, and it's a 1-run. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, it's the last chance for the regular season here at home. Fans snatching up some good merchandise out there. 2 men on base here for Seattle in what has become a rather wild game here. 9-8 the score. Jonathan Hernandez on in a very big spot.
And for Jonathan, this will be the 30th time that he's coming out of the Ranger bullpen. Ignore that ERA right there. He is coming off easily his best outing of the season. We know it has been a struggle for him. He has spent some time in the minor leagues, but he punched out the side against the Boston Red Sox. He did allow a hit in that ball game, but that's the only time he has done that this season. Right now for Bruce Bochy, he just needs 1 out.
Good first pitch, a slider in there, strike 1 on Canzone. Left-handed batter, and Canzone pops this one up. Heim hoping for it. Young coming in, and he'll take it. All right, well, I don't know. Heim didn't look thrilled, but the out is made. The inning is over. 3 runs in the 7th for Seattle. Rangers still lead by a run.
Your
now we turn
attention,
over to Chuck
please,
Moore.
ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise, direct your attention down the third baseline, and welcome back recording artist and songwriter Anthony Evans. Anthony will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with fire. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
All right, a 1-run game now. Bottom of the 7th inning. Hey, you know, you can get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to your Texas Rangers all season long with Rangers Insiders, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Airs tonight after Rangers Live right here on Bally Sports. Corey Seager leads it off in the 7th. And he'll go right after strike 1.
How about this? Andres Munoz in this game right now for the Seattle Mariners, and a guy that they use at the very back end of their bullpen. Let's see, 48 games for him on the season, but that's how important this is right now for the Seattle Mariners to try to keep this game here. He does have 13 saves on the year. He took over that closer role after they made the trade of Paul Sewald to Arizona. He was their closer. They traded Sewald, of course, for Josh Rojas and Canzone.
He works ahead of Corey Seager, 1 and 2. So yeah, 7th inning appearance here for Munoz. These are must-win games for Seattle and for the Rangers. And look out! Wow! And that one had a little fuzz on it at 99 miles per hour. Got a piece of Seager, and he is on.
Good to see him get down the line quickly, but you're absolutely right. This is concerning, any hit by pitch. But when we see a guy like this who lights up the radar gun, and it looked like it caught Corey Seager maybe tricep area or in his back.
man. Third time he's been hit this year. He's on. And Lowe takes strike one. Nathaniel 0 for 2. Drew another quality walk in the third inning, a 7-pitch walk. 90th time this year that he had done that. And he bounces this by the mound, left side of the infield. Suarez throws to first, and they get Lowe. The only play he had, he thought for a moment you could even see him glance over at second, but there was no chance there.
And then there was some concern whether or not Corey Seager would pop up and keep going to third, right? When these things happen with the shift, you have the shortstop there who's covering the bag, but Cal Raleigh did a nice job of hustling down to third base to cover, just in case Seager was thinking about it.
So Josh Young now, a man at second base, 1 out. And he'll take strike one. And defensively, Seattle did make a change. Happened last inning with the pitch hit by Dylan Moore, the 1-strike pitch, and it's 0-2. Moore stays in the game at second base. Well, after 3 runs in the top of the 7th, somehow finding a way to cash in Seager here would be big. I want to keep Munoz from getting that shutdown inning. Make sure you add on to the 9 runs already today. And Young fights that one off. It stays 0-2.
Creating a little bit of space here for the bullpen. As we know, we showed you probably no Aroldis Chapman here this afternoon, and so going to some of those other arms to try to close this thing out for the Rangers and the 6 more outs that they still have to get. It would be nice to have somewhat of a cushion.
0-2 from Munoz, a slow chopper left side of the infield. Crawford's throw to first is in time. And they get Young. 2 away, but Seager now is 90 feet away at third. And here's El Bombi.
Keep an eye on potential wild pitch here. You have the really good slider from Munoz. No doubt he'd probably want to show that to Garcia. He does have 4 wild pitches this year.
Heater a little bit off the plate there, ball 1.
And he was trying to go in, and you see how far he missed away. So obviously not comfortable throwing that 99-mile-an-hour fastball on the inner part of the plate. And it could have something to do with having hit Corey Seager. Sometimes that weighs in the back of your mind a little bit. No.
What?
No.
1-1. Just times today where it seems like Alan Porter, I don't know. One ball, 1 strike. Here's a pitch, and there's a slow roller again. Shortstop. Crawford on the run, throws out Garcia, and the inning is over. The Rangers leave a man at third. 8th inning coming up here this afternoon, and we've got a good one. It's 9-8. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better, and by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, what an afternoon we have had here today. Rangers battling to get back into the postseason. A return to those glory years is a little tapper back to Jonathan Hernandez, and he throws out France. It ended up being kind of a dicey little play there. Looked like that almost eluded Lowe's glove, right?
Well, you got the big arm. You know the ball's going to run a little bit from Jonathan when he's pitching, and so he, when you field your position, rarely you're going to throw the ball kind of over the top here. And I think for a second he maybe thought it was going to be slower than it was. But you see that arm angle? I mean, he threw just a nasty 2-seamer to Nathaniel, who did a good job of hanging in there on that one.
That was Snow Cone City right there for Nathaniel.
That's a glove breaker right there. Could be.
Funny you say that. The 1-0 pitch. Little check swing roller, first base line, and Lowe has it. Sidesteps to the bag, and Moore is erased. Lowe was out this afternoon. Well, I guess it was this morning before the ball game.
Lacing up a new glove?
Well, he was taking the, working on the digs where they hit the line drives at
Yeah,
it. And ball went about halfway through the webbing. He just held it for a while looking at it. I mean, it almost pierced the glove. So, yeah, hopefully got tightened up just a little bit.
Better to happen pregame than in-game.
Hernandez works to J.P. Crawford here. 8th inning in a 1-run game.
We know command has been an issue for Jonathan. You get in these spots right here. Right, he's done a nice job. He's retired 3 hitters. Took him 5 pitches to do it. The focus sometimes has a tendency to come down just a little bit, get 2 quick ones. That's where he's got to dial it back up and get in the zone. It's a 1-run game, obviously a huge situation. Julio Rodriguez is on deck.
Yeah,
for Jonahheim, the setup matters too, right? When you got that kind of movement, know your pitcher as well. You can see him kind of sitting middle. And giving Jonathan that target kind of right over the middle. Not especially once he got to the 2-ball count. For me, with an arm like Jonathan, I don't necessarily want my catcher on the corner. I want him thinking big part of the plate. His ball moves so much that rarely is it actually going to end up down the middle.
Two and 2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's way off the plate. Full count.
There's a slider from Jonathan that didn't do much of anything. If he looked like he slipped, you can see him kind of messing with the mound a little bit. Perhaps his back foot kicked out from him.
The payoff. And Crawford fouls it away. Boy, these are enormous pitches right here. If you can just find a way to get Crawford, you'd much rather deal with Julio Rodriguez leading off the 9th than coming to bat here with a man on. Huge 3-2 pitch. And that's in the air, foul. Well, there's one name you circle in this Mariners lineup before the series, the guy that you just can't have beat you in those big moments, and that is the man waiting on deck. The payoff. And this one on the ground, that's through into right field, base hit. So Crawford earns his way on, and he gets the team MVP anyway. Julio Rodriguez to the plate.
It's a good at bat from J.P. Crawford after he fouled off some tough pitches. He gets a slider, not a bad one. You want to be, again, inside the strike zone there. You're not trying to go to the corner. You're not looking for that swing and miss slider outside of the zone. And he hung in there against Jonathan.
8-pitch at bat there by Crawford to earn his way on. And so Hernandez a chance to be a hero of sorts here. Maybe the last time that the Rangers have to deal with Julio Rodriguez in this game. That would be ideal, of course. And Jonathan Hernandez entrusted with the opportunity here, and he puts that on the corner. 98 miles per hour for a strike.
Yeah, this is live. It's going to start middle because of that great movement, though. You can see where it finishes. Julio 0 for 2 against Hernandez in his career.
Here it is, and that's on the ground, foul, strike 2. No room for error right now. A 1-run game, 8th inning. Houston already lost today, swept by Kansas City this weekend. Houston finished the year with a losing record in their home ballpark. Rangers want to take advantage. The 1-2.
Oh,
another foul ball.
That is such a good pitch, and that's what's frustrating about facing great hitters. The 1-2 slider, it's off the plate, and you get him to offer at it, and he just catches it off the end of the bat. When you start to see that swing happen, you feel like you got to strike out. With so many different thoughts come in your mind. You know where that ball is going. You see him start to offer. And for a second, Jonathan looked like he finished him off.
Now Rodriguez pounds it out into left field. That one hits off the base of the wall. Carter up with it quickly. They will stop Crawford at third. It's a double for Julio Rodriguez. The tying run is now 90 feet away. The go-ahead run in scoring position for Seattle, and Bruce Bochy will go get the baseball. So the skipper signals to the pin. Cal Raleigh coming up for the Mariners when we return. Well, there you see it. This has been a wild one. 9-8. Rangers on top thanks to 6 home runs today, but the Seattle Mariners have really pushed their way back into this conversation. A 3-run 6th, 3 runs in the 7th inning. Bullpen for the Rangers today. They've inherited 5 runners and allowed all 5 to score. Brock Burke inherits 2 huge runners right here.
He's been great in these spots. Just 6 out of 32 that have scored so far against the left-hander. You get a 4-seam fastball that's averaging 95 miles an hour to go along with a slider, changeup, and every once in a while the 2-seamer. And for Bruce Bochy, he wanted to turn Cal Raleigh around.
First pitch, a swing and a miss with a good fastball. Good job by Burke. First base empty. Raleigh today is 1 for 3 with a walk. A base hit. He has scored twice. And Burke comes right after him again, and that is strike 2. Whoa.
And that is key to his game. When we have seen Brock Burke struggle, it has been the issue of getting that 4-seam fastball in to right-handers, and this is absolute paint at 97.
Now is 0-2. Got him swinging! A huge strikeout of Cal Raleigh, and Burke sends us to the bottom of the 8th.
And he does it on just 3 pitches and puts that fire out. Once again, we mentioned so good with inherited runners this year is Brock Burke, and maybe none bigger than this one in the strikeout of Cal Raleigh. All right, time now for our Baylor Scott Whitehead game diagnosis. And what a final home game in the regular season it has been for this Rangers offense. 6 home runs here this afternoon. Marcus Semien kicked things off in the very first inning with his home run. He hit another one that went off the glove of Julio Rodriguez. Evan Carter had a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. That one looking really big right now with this 1-run lead for the Rangers. Leote and the goalies in there as well. It has been a good afternoon, for the offense. I'd love to see them add on just a little bit more here in the ninth.
Justin Topa, the pitcher, his first pitch is rolled down to first, and France will handle everything himself.
Excuse me, the 8th.
1 away.
We don't want to hit in the ninth. No hitting in the ninth.
Well, Topa gets his first man, and now we'll deal with Mitch Garver.
How about 72nd game for Topa? I told you this last night. Came in now tied for the 3rd most relief appearances in baseball. His teammate Matt Brash has the most. This bullpen has been worked hard. It's a good one, but they have worked it hard.
1-strike pitch to Garver, and he swings through a fastball. 0-2 the count. Mitch has scored a couple of times today. Asked for time. Single and a walk, and then came around both times. Once on a Taveras homer, once on the Evan Carter home run. Topa's 2-strike offering, and that is off the plate. Jose Leclerc starting to throw in the Rangers bullpen. He'll be ready to go for the 9th inning. Heart of the order. This ball in the air left field, but Kelnick has it measured. 2 gone in the 8th. Here comes Leote Taveras. Rangers won the first 2 games of this series. 8-5 on Friday, 2-0 the shutout yesterday, and now another slugfest today. 9-8 the score. And Taveras takes on the inside corner for a strike. 2 teams have combined for 17 runs on 19 hits. And Topa gets ahead of Leote now, 0-2. And Leote asks for timeout. Rangers knocked around the Mariners starter Brian Wu today, knocked him out of the 4th inning. Topa, the 5th pitcher overall for Seattle, and that's fouled off. Seattle, suddenly they find themselves on the outside looking in. They're a half game out in the wild card. I guess actually at the moment they'd be tied with Houston. The 0-2, and this ball's in the air out to the alley in right field. That gets down. A base hit for Leote. And the Rangers have a 2-out base runner in the 8th inning.
We talked a lot about the 2 outs and the hits here and the run scored for the Rangers, and maybe now another opportunity with Leody Taveras and this base hit, and we'll see. Does it off a 2-seam fastball from Topa. Whether or not he'll be in motion and trying to get himself in scoring position. 6 stolen bases against Justin Topa this year. 3 times runners have been caught.
There's a little bluff over there at first base. Now Evan Carter playing in his 16th big league game. One of those games as a defensive replacement late. Good lead for Leote. And that pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, much has happened since Carter joined this team on September 8th, a little over 2 weeks ago. That's outside. Strike 1. 2
You called that a strike?
Yes, he did.
What?
Yes. And that's one of those days, I guess. That's a ball. 3-1. I gave it a moment. Well, good hitters count here. (3-1), and he'll take a strike. Full count. And I think Raleigh giving instructions here because Taveras will be taking off on the pitch.
Making sure those infielders remember ground ball, you're going to want to go to first. I mean, unlikely you have an opportunity to get Taveras at second.
3-2, and it's fouled back. Mentioned earlier that when Carter made his debut with the Rangers, they were 3 games out in the division and in 3rd place in the West. If the Rangers could hold on and win this, they'd be back to 2.5 games up in the division, a position they hadn't been in since late August. The 3-2 and a swing and a miss. Carter strikes out. The inning is done. Rangers leave a man. So it comes down to this. 9th inning, Rangers up by 1, and Jose Leclerc coming on.
Rangers clinging to a 1-run lead here in the top of the 9th, and Jose Leclerc on looking to close this one out. Had a great conversation with Pico today, and he said it felt so good last night contributing to this team's win. And he said it wasn't even the way that I pitched, it was the fact that I helped this team. I finally feel healthy. I feel like things are going my way as far as confidence is concerned, and also cited that relationship with Aroldis Chapman, into helping him develop mentally in these types of situations. You'd love to see him be able to do it back-to-back days here tonight.
Yeah, it would be good to see for Jose, who was on now for the 54th time this year, and a really nice ERA at 2.91, 52 2/3. He's a fly ball pitcher. He has given up 5 home runs this year, but 28% strikeout rate. He's done a nice job there, and what a big moment, perhaps the biggest for him here in 2023 so far.
His first pitch, and that one shaves off the corner. Strike 1. There's that good hard slider from Jose, and Hernandez not pleased.
He take a timeout there? Yeah, he must have.
Well, I got to assume he did, right? It was weird that Alan Porter kind of late to come out and signal that. But it will go That will go as his timeout, so he has none left now. I suppose his displeasure registered. The 1-strike pitch and a swing and a miss. Leclerc comes back with a heat, and he jumps ahead 0-2.
And this is 97 miles an hour at the top or just above the strike zone, and not a bad idea potentially to try it again or use that slider, something breaking away outside of the strike zone.
There's setup away. The 0-2 and a swing and a miss. Strikes him out of the slider. One away in the ninth.
That's a perfect 0-2 pitch from Jose Leclerc. And remember the first one of this at bat, it was borderline. Hernandez didn't like it. It forces him to go after this one, and just perfectly executed there between Jonah Heim and Jose Leclerc.
So now Kelenic, who's had a really good series and a good day at the plate, and he'll take a breaking ball low. I love what Emily just told us about Leclerc. He is such an earnest young man, and I mean, he is really tickled to be contributing. 1-1, but I thought Bruce Bochy made a really good point this morning when asked about Leclerc. He said, look, I think part of it is he's healthy. Remember, he wanted to pitch in the World Baseball Classic, but the Rangers had to hold him back. He was a little hurt, a little slow out of the gate this year. And then once he got started, there was even some concern that maybe he was not at 100%. Well, he's all better now. The 1-1. And that's low. Ball 2. He certainly has pitched like it lately. And with that better health, I think, comes more confidence. So this may be peak Leclerc right now. Couldn't
Peak
be a better
Pico?
time for it. Peak Pico. 2-2.
And you mentioned health and strength, and Emily was telling us about that even before the game. And you take a look at Jose Leclerc and the velocity by month for him on a four-seam fastball, the highest that we have seen all year long. We've seen some 97s here recently from him. So it kind of seems like everything falling into place at the right time for Jose Leclerc, and the Rangers need him the most.
2-2 to Kelenic. Got him swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts in the ninth for Jose Leclerc.
Perhaps dialing it up another notch. This one at 98 miles an hour. More importantly, the location is on point. Outer third and over the barrel of Jarred Kelenic.
Well, he's got 35,000 people eating out of the palm of his hand right now. And he gets a swinging strike on Eugenio Suarez. Leclerc trying to finish off a one-run win and a sweep of Seattle. That's strike 2. Whoa! Suarez apparently didn't go.
Let's take a look at the side. Did he? I'd say yes, he did, and that's a missed call.
Absolutely did. Not even close. Not even close. The 1-1. That's a strike. 99 miles per hour. Leclerc's in a different place right now. The pitch off the plate. Well, when this season started, the idea was Jose Leclerc would be the closer. And now in the final moments of the home season, here he is. Trying to save 2 in a row. And that one lined over third, and that is just fair. Suarez heading to second, and he has a 2-out double.
It's going to be interesting to the very end here for Jose Leclerc. He did not get this slider away. That one sits on the inner third for Suarez to get to. Jonah Heim wanted it on the corner or off, and going for the strikeout. Remember, no recourse with Suarez, so susceptible to it. The ball's just got to be a little bit further away. He's going to get a pinch runner now.
Caballero, the pinch runner for Suarez. Well, they get a little more speed out there. He's got the tying run in his back pocket. Top of the 9th inning. Canzone, last hope for Seattle. And Leclerc off the plate with ball 1. Strikeouts of Hernandez and Kelenic. The double to Suarez. That's way off the plate. Close on Canzone in the first 2 offerings.
Well, something else that we've talked about here with Jose Leclerc is he's got the lefty Canzone. Lefties have been significantly better against him. Certainly don't want to put the potential go-ahead run on base on purpose, but has dominated righties. There have been some struggles against the lefties.
Bounce to first. Lowe has it. A flip to Leclerc, and this one is over. Jose Leclerc puts the finishing touches on a 9-8 win and a sweep of the Mariners.
And how about the excitement for Jose Leclerc? The big smiles there. What an incredible series this was for the Rangers. And they are feeling it right now. The offense shows up in a huge way with the 6 home runs today. And then this man, Jose Leclerc, coming out of the bullpen. The Rangers needed somebody to step up. He has been the guy to do it. They complete this sweep. They are done at home. 50 wins on the season in this ballpark this year.
The incredible turnaround of 2023 continues. And now the final road trip looms for the Rangers. And they leave home with a 2.5 game lead in the division. We'll take one quick break. Come back to wrap it up in a moment.